based on our observations and of course our Moultrie mobiles out watching the property, it appears there's been a great turkey hatch at the proving grounds this spring. I am glad to see all those poults and mature toms still alive after season, knowing we had a good season. The turkey population here at the proving grounds is very, very healthy. But that's not because of habitat like this. I mean, when you look down around, it's just brown leaves, maybe occasional, little stem, little hardwood sapling or something coming up. But this is a classic example of what I call a biological desert. Most of the sunshine was, not is, but was, being captured by the crown of these trees. And without photosynthesis at the ground level, we're not producing any food or any cover. And when you put turkeys in a pool table, so to speak, and make them live there, they're very vulnerable to predation. Great example is about 100 yards right in front of me. There's a logging road run through there, and we had one of our Moultrie mobiles watching that road because we know from past experience toms like to strut up and down that road. What we weren't anticipating is there was a turkey down the leaves, may have been dusting, and 3 hours later after that turkey drifted on, a raccoon comes in, it's just all over that exact spot where that turkey was. So when you've got this, what I call pool table habitat, nothing but some dead leaves and a few small hardwood saplings growing, the scent can just easily spread all on that ground surface area, and any predator going downwind of that turkey is going to pick up that scent and come to the spot rapidly. Knowing that, think about a hen out here that's gonna, once she starts nesting, stay on that nest about 22 hours a day, give or take. She's gonna get off and feed a little bit in the morning, maybe get off again in the afternoon, but when she's incubating, she's just setting on those eggs. 22 hours a day, any predator getting downwind, and the nest success is going to be extremely low. Now, I mentioned to start with that we've had a great turkey hatch here at the proving grounds this year. We're seeing poults, seeing lots of poults, seeing toms after season, mature toms. Our turkey population's extremely healthy. But I've noticed just working on the property that I don't see many poults in this habitat. Those poults are where we've cut a bunch of cedars and have native grass going, or we've thinned out these hardwoods and let enough sun come through for native grass and forbs to grow, because turkey populations are all about nesting and brooding habitat. You got to be able to get a nest off successfully and raise those poults for a month or so till they can successfully avoid predators. So if you're looking right here to my right, you see some funky rings on these trees. Well, that's the result of hack and squirt. And I don't know, about a month ago or so, we had a crew come through here and hack and squirt this stand of timber. And my objective was to take the basal circumference, basal area, down to about 40 basal feet per acre. So that's a forestry term, but if you could stick great big arms out and cover an acre and squeeze all the trees together, that would equal about 40 square feet. So thin it way on down, it's way overstocked right now. Let a lot of sun come through here. Use prescribed fire to remove this leaf litter on top of soil, and that will stimulate the growth of native grasses and forbs. I don't like felling all these trees. Hey, if you just fell a tree, you know it's going to stump sprout back. I mean, that's just a given. On a hardwood species, it's sprouting back. And then you fell them all down over and over and over. Boy, it's a booger to walk through. It's not very pretty. But when you terminate them standing, as soon as the leaves die, the sun comes right through, and everyone's afraid, boy, if you do that, you can't walk in there, you can't walk in there. But I noticed a couple of trees on the way in here, maybe we killed with prescribed fire back in the day, or they just died or whatever. They've been dead. I've been driving this road for, 5, 10 years. They haven't fallen yet. When you hack and squirt, this can be many, many years before these trees die. The first year or two, small limbs, about a ½ inch or so, will fall down. No one's going to be killed by that. They're air dried or really dried. Year 2, 3, 4, maybe up to an inch or so, getting their air dried. By the time these have broken down enough that a guy could push them over or a windstorm could make them fall over, we're talking a lot of years down the road, and they're air dried. They basically fall over, hit the ground, and turn into dirt. So I've never heard, not one time in my entire career, of a person being injured by walking through an area that was hack and squirt and a random tree falling on them. So that's just, a bunch of internet talk. I don't think there's any danger in doing that. My testimony is clear because I've used that technique on my property.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, Lacrosse Footwear, Moultrie Mobile, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, RTP Outdoors, Fourth Arrow, Hunt Stand, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Ward Laboratories, Burris Optics, National Land Realty, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
One of the most common questions we receive about using the hack and squirt technique is what herbicide should be used. And there's no single herbicide I'm aware of that treats all the different species of trees, like maybe sassafras, oaks, hickory, stuff like that. But I have found through great research from my friend Dr. Craig Harper that a mixture of about 50% Garlon 3A, not 4, but Garlon 3A, 40% water, and 10% Arsenal AC is a really good mixture. Now, the generics of those herbicides will work just fine, save you a little bit of money. Timing's important too, and the hack and squirt technique, now this we've hacked but also girdled, but if you're using the pure hack and squirt technique, 1 hack for each 3 inches of tree, or about 2 hacks for a tree this size, you need to do it after the leaves are fully formed in the spring and before the first ones are turning color. That's the safest bet. It will work a little bit either side of that, but that's the safest bet. If you're doing a full girdle and applying the herbicide in there, you can use it throughout most of the year. Hack and squirt is a great technique for these low quality hardwood stands like this, where you can come through and basically take out the past stump sprouts or small trees or species that aren't very productive and leave the bigger trees, the better trees, to take the sun and moisture for this area and produce hardwoods, acorns, maybe saw logs someday. It's called timber stand improvement, TSI, improving the timber stand. Where a lot of people do a hardwood cut, they come in, the forester or logger comes in and says, we're gonna cut everything that's 16 inches or better. If you look around here and you cut everything that's 16 inches or better, you took out the best trees and left the rest. That's called high grading. And in fact, that's what's happened throughout much of the whitetails range for several generations now. People took the best to make some income and left the rest. TSI, timber stand improvement, is just the opposite. We're gonna terminate the small trees that have bad form, whatever, and leave the best. That's timber stand improvement. Now, when you do timber stand improvement, there's usually no income. You're not selling those trees unless there's a really strong hardwood pulp market that will take smaller trees where you are. That's rarely the case. But you can certainly improve the timber stand quality and, what I'm interested in, significantly increase the habitat for deer, turkey, quail, and other wildlife species. So if you've got a property like this, in the southeast, Midwest, upper Midwest, whatever, and it's just a bunch of hardwood stems, nothing on the ground for food, nothing on the ground for cover except a few acorns raining during the fall, timber stand improvement is a really good habitat improvement technique for you. Instead of using a chainsaw, you can use hack and squirt and accomplish really good results. We keep you posted on the stand, and hopefully we can show you through time it going from a biological desert to extremely productive wildlife habitat. I've learned that when you say something like this that maybe people aren't used to, you get a bunch of naysayers. But you may recall a few years ago, we assisted a gentleman up in central Missouri, prescribed this exact same thing. I've been doing this for decades, folks. This isn't any new technique or anything. He used hack and squirt on an 80-acre block. We went back and could not believe the difference. You may want to check out that episode at this link. Learning how to evaluate habitat quality and the techniques that can be used to improve the habitat is a great way to enjoy creation. But even more important than learning those techniques, I hope you take time daily to be quiet and seek the Creator's will for your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.